Welcome back to Game On. Starting things off, we had Colac with a 92-point win over Grovedale in the senior football. The Tigers kicked 10 goals unanswered to start the game, and they held Grovedale to just 1 point at half-time. And Jason Arm said he must have been really happy with the defensive work from the Tigers.
Yeah, that really set up the game. That first half, it was sort of dead and buried by then, which was good in our eyes. Army sort of said in the pre-game that Grovedale probably have 5 players that sort of hold them together, and if you can knock one or two of them over, you'll run away with the game, and I think that's what we did. Like, I look at Zach Zybel in the ruck. He was coming up against Ryan Abbott, who's former AFL player, big boy in there, and Zybel looks like he's back to his best. He probably has had a slow start to his lofty standards, but he was great. And the other one's Darcy Lang. He's been back in the side after with Geelong Grammar going on those school holidays, so he's been back, and he just sort of really creates for us at half forward. Structure-wise, sets up that forward six and sort of really opens up the game. He's back for the 19th of July against St Albans, and then the last 3 weeks of the home and away season before finals. So we'll get him when it really matters. And the other one's Brady Hall. He looks to be showing some glimpses of being a really good player at senior level. He's still young. I don't think he's turned 28. He's still 19. And going through the fluctuations of a young player, but he's really shown some good glimpses.
Yeah, I mean, the one that impressed me was Tom Rinnett defending full forward Tom Gillett. Obviously Tom Gillett managed to kick later in the day, but from all accounts, Tom Rinnett had a really great game on the park. Yeah,
kept him really quiet, and kicked that goal when the game was sort of dead and buried as well. And then just looking at our run home, we sit equal third on percentage, so we're technically fourth, but third there on percentage, and 1 game behind Newtown in second, but we have a game in hand, so we're sitting in a really good spot. And then in the last seven weeks of the year, the only top half sides we play are St Joseph's, South Barwon and Bell Park, which is really favourable compared to the rest of the competition and who they have to play. So I think we're in a really good spot.
Colac Netballers got their first win of the season, got on the board, guys. The team had their highest scoring game of the year in a 66-56 win against Grovedale.
Yeah, they would have known it was probably a gettable game, but it's great for their confidence to get that on the board. That'll get them rolling for the rest of the year. The exciting one was Mary Place. She had a great day out, really efficient with her shooting. She went 51 from 54 attempts. And that's 94%, if my math is correct there. So that's a very good day.
And the Tigers' creativity to the mid-court was led by Jessie Lang. She impressed with her ability to unlock space and feed the circle with precision. Yeah,
and Dave Boyce said that the lack of Grovedale's kind of I think from teams that they've played throughout this season, they've been coming up against these really tall goal shooters. Grovedale didn't actually have that on the weekend, which definitely helped Colac's defence. But speaking on the mid-court as well, David mentioned Georgia Finn and Em Murfitt's connection in the mid-court really got them going throughout the day and helped with some great feeds into that goalie circle.
Moving to the CDFNL football for our game of the round, Lawn defeated South Colac by 6 points in an absolute thriller, and Lawn footballer Jackson Bright, he's quickly making a name for himself as the league's most clutch player. He's had 3 in sort of last year.
Bright delivered another heart-wrenching loss for the Roos. I think he kicked the game winner against them last year down at Lawn in the last 20 seconds, and he did it again with about 3 or 4 minutes left. And Lawn assistant coach Bryce Vincent, he said Bright's been playing up on the wing a bit more this year. Obviously, he's played forward last year. They moved him forward late in the game, and he's come up with the goods there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another Dolphin that's kind of continually made his name the last 2 or 3 weeks has been Charlie McCartan, who played his 3rd game in a row for Lawn. He booted 4 goals on the weekend, guys, taking his tally to 21 goals in the season. That would have him, I think, number 8, tied 7th, number 8 on the leading goaler for the competition. Only slightly downer for the Lawn is Lawn midfielder Tyson Matthews was a bit of an injury concern coming out of the game with a potential shoulder injury.
Otway District's captain Alex Burnett stole the show with a 6-goal performance against the Bay and snapped the Demons' 8-game losing streak, which was really pleasing for coach Shane Boynton.
Yeah, and Boynton spoke really highly on Apollo Bay's kind of plan and what they're building there in the long run after the game, saying in their side they had 7 blokes under the age of 21. If they can keep everyone around, they'll be in really good shape. And speaking to that, Kai Clissold and Lewis Beaumont both played their first senior games for the Bay, coming up from the under-18 team.
Yeah, the only worry for the Demons was Jordan Craddock. He had a pretty gruesome one. He copped a high fend off and was taken to hospital. Boynton said he should be all right, but not nice to see.
Colac Imperials have defeated Birregurra by 26 points to continue their winning streak and push it to 9 games on the trot. They got off to a flyer in this one, guys. 5 goals to 3 in the first quarter, and the margin stayed the same by half time.
Yeah, Bailey Scott's side just can't stop winning. He praised the the standard of the game. It was high quality, high skills, and so both teams' defences had really strong periods throughout the game.
Yeah, and Birregurra official Sean Travascus, he said his side just didn't make the most of their opportunities. And for the Saints, they had a debutant. Connor Hall played his first senior game, while Tyler Pence and Patrick Bryce, they left the field early with some injuries.
Illawarra Back made light work of Simpson, defeating them by 74 points, and actually jumps the Bombers up all the way from 6 into 3rd just with that one win there.
Yeah, Illawarra coach Cam Parker said the side got off to a bit of a slow one to start this contest before toppling the Tigers.
Yeah, and the Bombers had a debutant, Patrick McNamara. He was best on ground in his first game, so he was really impressive. And Mackay Farr also played his first senior game for the Bombers.
In Alvey versus Western Eagles, the game was abandoned after 1 quarter. Points were split between 2 sides after the collapse of Alvey trainer Quirinus Scoob Underwater. The Alvey Football Club has thanked responders for helping with the collapsed trainer during Saturday's game against the Eagles.
Yeah, and the trainer fell during the quarter-time break at Irrawillipi Recreation Reserve with no further part in the game.
Yeah, our best wishes go out to Scoob, his family, and the Alvey Football Club.
Moving on to CDFNL Netball, and Birregurra were the big winners out of this round with a 61-59 win over Colac Imperials, and now beating Illawarra and the Imps, so they're really shaping up as a genuine contender for the Saints.
Yeah, and Birregurra coach Saskia Rowan said that playing South Colac the week before actually really helped them prepare for this fixture. She says they have a similar game in the fact that their shooter is a really strong main shooter and their goal attack is a feeder goal attack. And yeah, you can see a lot of similarities from the two sides, and good to see Birregurra improve on the loss last week with the win this week. Tess Blake was on fire, only missing 3 shots on the way to scoring 46 goals for the Saints.
Yeah, and the little worry coming out for the Imps was Chloe Gray. She hurt her knee again and will seek a further scan this week, but given our history last year with the ACL, that's a bit of a worry. South Colac led from start to finish to defeat Lawn 66-50, Lou.
Yeah, and the Roos, they restricted that league-leading goal scorer Sade Savin to her 4th fewest shots for the season with 42, that was.
South Colac coach Kelsey Jeffries was really impressed with her defensive work from her side, shouting out players like Chloe Lang, Jess Della, Morgan Eldridge, working hard and grinding throughout the contest. Alvey has snapped its 2-game losing streak, defeating the Western Eagles by 2 goals. While the game remained in the balance for most of the contest, Alvey coach Sarah Lloyd said that the Swans managed to take greater control in the final quarter to be able to close out the win.
Yeah, and Lloyd said that the Eagles posed a major threat in attack with dynamic goaling duo Remy Dowenhoven and Brian McLaughlin playing well for the Eagles.
Yeah, she also said Hillman's adaptability has been really impressive, moving from the mid-court to defence since round 10 in the absence of Ruby Bowers and Ebony Maraglia. Illawarra Back put themselves 8 points clear at the top of the ladder after defeating Simpson 54-38, Lou.
Yeah, and the win came for the Bombers despite Ruby Hall missing the game with a knee injury, and also Emmy Frith and Rachel Roger, they played the game through illness, but they obviously continued on.
Yeah, the Bombers held the Tigers to their lowest scoring tally in the past 4 games, but Tigers coach Emily Dowenhoven said that she was proud of her side and thought that they stepped up when it really counted in the game.
Otway District snapped an 8-game losing streak with a 38-goal win over Apollo Bay.
Yeah, the Hawks were without goal shooter Taylor Bertrand, who sustained a shoulder strain in an earlier under-17s game on the Saturday. And they also lost goalkeeper Chloe Howell after 1 quarter to a calf strain. Now for Hotshots of the Week, Tess Blake tops our list, guys, with 46 goals for the Saints. Kiara Foster comes in at 2nd with 42 goals, just pipping Sade Stafford with 41 goals.
The Colac Braves are back after their first loss last weekend. They returned in fine fashion with an 11-0 win over the Ballerine Bears, and Michael Reid, he was the man of the day with the bat. He drove in 5 RBIs, and then Brad Egan had another day out with the ball. He allowed just 1 hit from 6 innings, which is phenomenal, with 10 strikeouts as well, and didn't walk anyone.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of someone who can be dangerous with the ball, Brendan Di Lorenzo raised his hand again on the weekend, but this time with the bat. He finished with 3 for 4 at base with an RBI and 3 runs scored.
Clint Ayr Larkins added 2 hits and drove in 1, while Tom Fraser and Egan both notched up RBIs of their own. And for the Division 4 boys, they had a forfeit win over Northwestern Titans, which was a 9-0 result.
Now for the Colac Herald's Players of the Week. Boys, I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to go with Michael Reid, Div 2 Colac Braves, driving in 5 runs for the day.
Yeah, mine's Jackson Bright, come up clutch once again with a match-winning goal against South Colac on the weekend.
Yeah, and then mine's Mary Place. She had a terrific day for the Tigers in their first win, scoring 51 goals from 54 attempts.
Thanks for watching Game On. There'll be no football and netball action next week with buys, but we'll be back covering the sport from the weekend.